Wow. You have to see this old picture of me. There is so much going on in this picture. At this point, I am still a practicing financial planner. I am running that business, which is 40+ hours a week. I've launched my blog and I'm spending 20+ hours a week with that. We just had our first child. You can see him on my lap. I've got the BlackBerry, the old school BlackBerry. I mean, this is multitasking as I'm trying to write a blog post. I can just remember how insane I was at this point in my life, but I just thought that was the normal. The truth is I was connected to my computer. I was connected to my emails. Like I just felt like I had to be plugged in all the time. Now, it wasn't too long after this that I stopped focusing on how much I could make per hour, how much I could make per month. Instead, I started focusing on how much do I make when I'm not working. I started focusing on the things that I could do for myself, for my family, for my business, so that I was working less and making more. Although I was familiar with the concept of trading time for money, I was smack dab in the middle of it and didn't realize how much time I was actually losing. And that began a fun but long and hard journey of understanding what passive income really is. I had to make some really big changes in how I approached my business, how I approached investing, how I approached my time, so that I could truly benefit of the value and awesomeness that passive income offers. Now, I don't know where you are in your passive income journey, but I wanted to share some of the ways that I'm able to make right now passive income on a monthly basis. And I'm not doing this as a flex or as a pat on the back, hey, look at me and how awesome I am, but I want to offer you encouragement and inspiration so that you can see that passive income is a reality. Because I have learned the hard way, something that I've heard often is knowledge is power. And in theory, that is true, but in practice, it's not. And the reason is because knowledge is only power if you actually do something with it. So knowledge alone is not power. Taking action on that knowledge is. So today I'm going to break down what are 8 different passive income sources that I'm making. You're going to see the monthly amount, and I'm going to break it down so you can see how much in passive income I make per day, just so that you can see what is possible. So if you're ready, let's begin. So the way that I broke down these passive income sources, the first 4, I want to start with these because these are ones, if you are interested, if you've been talking about starting passive income, adding passive income to your portfolio, adding it to your mix, these are 4 that you can start implementing today. The first passive income source that I receive is from dividends. Now, if you are newer to the channel, then you may not be aware of the Grow Your Dough challenge that I started last year. And the whole point of this challenge was I wanted to show new investors how easy it was to open an investment account on your phone, on your laptop, on your computer, deposit some money and start investing and start making money. Initially, it started with $1,000 deposited into various accounts. But then I recognized that I've got way too much sitting in cash, making next to nothing. So I wanted to start putting more of that money to work. And I thought it would be a fun experiment, bringing you all along for the ride, showing as I build these different portfolios. And one of the portfolios that I wanted to construct was a dividend portfolio. And the reason being is that most of my stock holdings up to this point have been purely growth. I don't think I have any stocks right now that pay any dividends, at least up until starting this challenge. So the platform that I chose was Robinhood. This was the investment app, easy to set up, and I opened a Robinhood account. Initially, I put in $100,000, then I ended up putting more, and I have to admit that it took me a while to get anything invested, and I'm actually embarrassed to admit this. I have more sitting in cash still in my Robinhood account that I should. Right now, it's showing me here that my buying power is $138,000, which basically means that I've got $138,000 sitting in cash. But I have invested some of that, and you can see some of the holdings that I have, Crone, GoPro, American Express, Canon, Verizon, Starbucks, Lowe's, etc. So you can kind of see some of the holdings here. But what we're talking about right now is with our dividends. So looking at dividends, how much dividends am I actually making from my Robinhood account? Now, with some of these dividend paying stocks that I have purchased, some have been bought in the last few months. So I haven't received a dividend payment on all of these, but just looking here at the recent history. So December the 10th, Target paid me $17 for their quarterly dividend. I got a dividend payment from MRO for 3 cents. Another small dividend from TROX. So I think these are all free stocks that I received by those of you that have opened a free account with Robinhood. And by the way, if you want to do that, check out the link in the description. You can open up a free account with Robinhood and also get some free stocks. Starbucks paid me a dividend of $13.50. I've got American Express here, AMP, pay me a dividend of $52. Now we're talking. We've got another PBCT paid a dividend of $72. Lowe's paid a dividend of $12, and then Verizon $31. If I go back even further, I've got dividends from Foot Locker. I've got dividends from Bank of the Ozarks. Dividends from Target, also PFG. So there have definitely been some dividends paid out over the last few quarters. And if I add all of these up, this is the amount that I get. I get about $380 a quarter, which breaks down about $127 per month. Now, obviously, if I put more of that money to work, took it out of the cash and put it into something paying a dividend, that should be more. And the goal here is actually, I want to build a portfolio that's paying $1,000 a month. So that is the target. Still have some more work to do, but I'm still receiving some dividends from another source. The other account that I opened with is M1 Finance. So with M1 Finance, the idea there was I wanted to build a portfolio that was more growth oriented. So I chose more tech stocks like Tesla and Zoom, PayPal, Apple, Amazon. Now, the good news is that that account has done very well, which I'll mention here in a second. But in that portfolio, some of those funds also pay dividend. Now, that's just because I've got Nike and also have Apple, and they don't pay a huge dividend. Like right now, Apple Pay looks like a $14.61 dividend. Pay that quarterly, and then the Nike dividend paid, check it, $13.77. But I do own a few ETFs. I've got some allocation into bonds, some short-term bond funds. So that totals about $24.71 for the PGIM Ultra Short Bond ETF, and that is a monthly. Since it is an ETF, I also own the Vanguard Intermediate Term Bond Fund. That pays $64. On average, I'm making about $97 a month from dividends on my M1 Finance portfolio. Now, I want to point out, the M1 Finance account shows this is how you truly make money in the stock market. You know, dividends aren't the only way. So initially, the whole point of the M1 Finance account was to invest, as I said, more into tech stocks, more growth oriented. But I wasn't ready to put all of my money in yet. The thought was I was going to dollar cost average. So right now, I still have 50%, half of the portfolio allocated to a Vanguard short-term bond fund and the Ultra short-term bond fund. And the rest of it invested into Amazon and Tesla and Nike and Facebook and Google and Dropbox and all of these, which, as we, or maybe you don't know, a lot of these stocks have crushed it over the pandemic. So this account right now, even though half of it was invested very conservatively, I am up $53,000 at the time of this recording. I mean, that is a good return in a short amount of time. Now, I'm not going to include the gain from the stocks as part of this calculation because we're talking about passive income and I'm talking about dividends. So right now, with dividends between Robinhood and M1 Finance, we're looking at about $224 per month. All right, the second passive income source that I make is one that we all want to maximize. We want to make sure that we are earning as much on our cash as possible. And I almost feel like a counterfeit saying this because I've had a ton sitting in cash making next to nothing, which I've shared before. Right now, I have a few different savings accounts. We have our savings accounts, we have business checking, we have various checking accounts, but my biggest savings account right now has just over $500,000 in it, and it's with a big national bank. I'm not going to say their name. I'm going to be nice, and I'm sure if you have an account with a big national bank, you feel my pain. So in this account right now, there's just over $513,000, and it paid in the month of November an interest payment of $22.43. So that is just another passive income source. $22.43. Like what the hell? Are you serious? What the? Oh, now there is a reason that we have so much cash. I'm a big proponent of what's called the barbell investing strategy, and you can check that video out where I talk more about that. But in a nutshell, basically is that I like to keep a lot in cash because everything else is much more higher risk. The only reason why I want to do the dividend stocks is just because I want to do something here for the YouTube channel. I thought it'd be kind of fun that you could follow along, but for the most part, everything else that I invest to is much more aggressive. Case in point, the next interest account I'm going to mention, which I mentioned in a previous video, is talking about BlockFi, which is a cryptocurrency savings account. Now, right now, I have $25,000 deposited with BlockFi, and the time of this recording, I just received my second interest payment. And this really just blows me away because once again, I deposited $25,000. I'm sorry, it was $10,000, then I added 15. I've had this account now just for 2 months. So 2 months, I've made a total of $226.52. But the first interest payment was just on 10,000, so the second was on 25. Right now, the only thing that I own in my BlockFi account is USDC. So I don't own any Bitcoin, I don't own any Ethereum. So the first interest payment I received was $69.88. So right now, I'm figuring that I am making about $156 a month on my BlockFi account. And this is for a $25,000 account compared to my other savings account that has over $500,000, $22.43. So do you think I need to deposit more in my BlockFi account? Now, that being said, BlockFi, there is no FDIC insurance. This is definitely much more higher risk. That's why I'm making, I think it's 8.6% on my USDC coin. So that is why, nonetheless, that's a lot more than my savings account. Okay, I need to move on. All right, the third passive income source that I make is from real estate. Now, I am not a real estate investor, as in like I don't own any condominiums, I don't own any townhouses, I don't go out and flip houses. I'm much more the real estate investor that likes to do it sitting in my chair. And there's a few different ways that I do this. I have some private real estate investments, one of which is a residential property. It's invested through a private REIT, a real estate investment trust. I also have an investment into an apartment complex, which is called, it's through Mission Bay Capital Partners. And each of these, I was approached by a real estate investor that was in my network. Now, the second one, which is actually a larger investment for me, I have not received any dividend payments yet. But the first one, I have a dividend that goes directly to my Wells Fargo account. This is where I have my self-administered 401k plan, one of the places I have my 401k at. So each and every single month, I make $116.66 from that private real estate note. And I have been receiving this for, it's been a long time. I don't know how many years. It's been several years. I think it's about a 7% yield on my initial investment. So 116.66 there. Now, for many of you, you're like, well, I don't know any private real estate investors, so how can I do this? Well, another way that you can become a real estate investor is through crowdfunding online platforms. One of the most popular online platforms is Fundrise. Fundrise is very similar to the Robinhoods, the M1 Finances of the world, where you can actually start investing through an app. And that's what I started with. I can't remember how much I opened my account with. Right now you can get started with Fundrise with, I think, a minimum of like $500 to $1,000. And it's very similar to the REITs that I mentioned. So how this works is that you put money into a Fundrise account, and then you are letting the Fundrise team manage real estate properties for you. And they will show you like different listings, all the ones that your portfolio has acquired. I'm looking at one right now. This is a new acquisition, a apartment renovation in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it gives you the structure, it gives you a rating, it gives you a projected return. Here it's saying 8.4 to 12%. It will give you progress reports on properties that you own. Here is one, renovations complete on Jacksonville, Florida apartment. This is the one I saw here recently, back in October, where it shows a new acquisition, rental townhome community in Nashville, Tennessee. Like, this was kind of cool because this is literally 30 minutes from where I live. So if I actually wanted to go see this property, I could. Anyway, just wanted to give you some information about Fundrise, but let's actually talk about the dividend dividends and how much I am making. So right now, total account value here is $8,656. And we start looking at the performance. So you can see my net returns of $1,095 there, shows me my year-to-date returns. I'm more interested in the dividends, like how much dividends am I making? And I can look at the transactions here. So back in October, there was a long-term growth dividend reinvestment. There was $58.74. Looks like about it right now with the dividends on the Fundrise account. This is not including obviously appreciation. You know, if any of the properties are going up, if they go to sell them, at least it gives me an idea of how much I'm making in dividends on a quarterly basis. So I went back and looked to see how much in dividends have I made over the past year. That's about $522 divided by 12. On average, it's about $43 a month that I'm making on dividends from my Fundrise portfolio. So in total, it's about $160 a month from my real estate investments, which is just about $5 more than what I'm making from my BlockFi account. Are you serious? Yeah, that's the truth. That is the truth. Number 4 is one that I'm hesitant to include here as passive income, but there definitely are elements of this that are passive, and that is my YouTube channel and revenue that I make from YouTube. So with this number, I am just looking at my YouTube ad, all the ad revenue that most people are familiar with. I'm not including any affiliates, any core sales, any brand deals that come from the YouTube channel. Now with YouTube, obviously, like right now, I am recording a video for YouTube. There's nothing passive about this, but there are videos that for whatever reason, YouTube likes them, they get engagement, they get traction, and they continue to get traction for years to come. And I mentioned this in my previous video of 10 different ways to make $1,000 a month, which you need to go check out. In that video, I shared there were 2 videos that I recorded 2 years ago that I have not promoted. I don't blast them to my email list. I don't promote them on social. Either way, just those 2 videos alone bring in about $1,000 a month. Now, if you look at the revenue I make from my YouTube channel, I mean, it's almost embarrassing when you see all these other guys like Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin and all these guys that are crushing on YouTube making 6 figures a month.
We have made to date $4,790, and in this video that we will get demonetized in.
And you can look at my channel over the last 90 days. Yes, I got 1.2 million views total for 90 days, and I made a total of $17,379. So if you look at my monthly revenue, you can see in September I made just over 6,000, and right now that's what I'm averaging, 5,000 to 6,000. I know earlier on in the pandemic, I was up between that $10,000 to $15,000 mark, and just kind of changed the types of videos that I was publishing. Not as much stimulus check video. No judging, no judging. I mean, it pays good money. But for the sake of this calculation, I'll go ahead and round down, and I'll just say on average, the YouTube channel is bringing in about $5,000 passively. Moving on to number 5, and I'm sure I probably said that this is my most favorite passive income source, and this is from my blog. So I have a financial blog called goodfinancialsense.com. You can go check it out. Tons of great personal finance, investing, financial planning articles. So this blog was launched over 12 years ago, and there definitely are aspects of it, like YouTube, that aren't passive, but it is so much more passive than my YouTube channel, just because I have published so much content over the years, and we can update the content. We can add new links, add new figures if need be, but I have a team that's in place that takes care of all of that. Now with my blog and many other blogs, I mean, there are different ways that we can make money. As far as the passive income streams go, most of that is through affiliates and some banner ads. I do get brand sponsorships and sponsored posts which pay a sizable sum, and I don't want to include that here. But with the blog, you know, mostly it's affiliates. That is the big driving force of the revenue. And just being a personal finance blog, you know, those affiliates include investing companies, you have your insurance companies, you've got your big banks. I mean, all of these financial companies have deep pockets, and they are willing to pay to get in front of my audience, or any audience for that matter, that is talking about personal finance and investing. We have a few different campaigns going on the site right now, and the numbers I'm going to share with you, just so that we are fully transparent, these are not net numbers. You know, there are costs associated with these figures, but the beauty of having the online business is that expenses here pale in comparison to a brick and mortar business, and I can speak to that since I did have a financial planning firm, so I know what the costs were there, and it is a fraction of the online business. All right, so that being said, one campaign, we had just over $32,000 in revenue. You can see on one day here, we made just over $1,800 on the day. On the other campaign, we made over $281,000. As you can see on the graph graphic there, $12,000 was just not an average day, but one of the higher days. This is for the month of October. So if we go ahead and just round those numbers off, we're looking at $310,000 for the month. So that comes to about $10,300 per day. I don't care who you are, that's a pretty dang good day in my book. Now, the funny thing about these numbers, I mean, it's really not that funny, but it just is a reminder of how grateful I am to have this business, is that one of these campaigns, like we are down. Like COVID, the whole pandemic has affected this piece of the business. Either way, we have found ways to diversify and add additional income streams. So like definitely not complaining, but definitely also looking forward to 2021 and beyond to see the numbers where we were just earlier this year. I want to say again, I started this blog over 12 years ago, and there has been a lot of time, blood, sweat, tears into building it into what it is today. So this is something that you just don't start and expect to make an extra $1,000 a month passively tomorrow. It can be done, but it does take some time. Now, if you've been kicking around the idea of starting a blog and you haven't taken action yet, I'm gonna give you a resource so that you can stop making excuses. You can go to make1kchallenge.com, and this is a free email series that we offer that shows you how to get your blog started, get it set up, publish your first blog post, and give you tips and strategies how to make your first $1,000. So if you want to sign up for that challenge, go to make1kchallenge.com, get on the email list, get that blog going. All right, moving on to number 6. So number 6 is really just an extension from the blog, extension from the online persona, and that is with online courses. I mean, you can't be an online personal brand, an online influencer, and not have a course. Now, for me, the very first course that I created was this one. This was the Online Advisor Growth Formula, and this was a course that was geared towards other financial advisors that wanted to grow their practice utilizing online marketing. This is a course that I created, gosh, like almost 3 years ago. I'm not actively involved in it. I gave it to one of my star students, and he's actually managing it now, and I'm getting paid a royalty, a residual on all the income. Right now, we actually have a launch going, so we haven't really promoted it all that much, but just in the last few months, like I had a sale for, I think it was $2,000 last month. So the fact that I'm still making money from this course that I haven't done anything with, haven't promoted in several years, is a lot of fun. Now, the other course that I have, this is one that is relatively new, and this is called Passive 1K, and this is one that I'm just now promoting. It's been done for a little while, just been a little gun shy actually promoting it, but this is basically a course that I show people that want to start not just an online business with a blog, but also show you how you can set up the systems to where you're not working 80+ hours a week and you start making that passive income. So once again, this is something that I haven't really promoted all that much, but just in the last month alone, I think it made just over $3,000. So the grand total with these is just under $5,000, ends up being about $160 a day, and that's with zero to no promotion. It's just one of those things, like, why don't I promote this stuff? I don't know. That's a whole other story. Either way, online courses, a great passive income source. I actually have another one that I'm working on right now that I can't wait to share. Moving on to number 7, and number 7 is exciting because we're not talking about dividends or interest. What we're talking about is royalties. So with royalties, usually that comes from music or writing a book. Speaking of my book, let me go ahead and grab a copy. All right, so here it is. This is my book, Soldier of Finance. This was published, I believe, back in 2013, which seems like ages ago. Now with the book, if you get it published through a publishing house, they'll typically pay you up front. That's what happened here. Now I didn't get a huge advance up front. I did get something. I was just excited that somebody was willing to pay me to publish my book, which they did. But the other way that you can make money with the book is through royalties. Now I'm not making a lot of money. The thing that was exciting though is whenever I relaunched my YouTube channel just a few years ago, I saw an uptick in book sales. But like my courses, my book is something that I don't promote a lot. One, it's 7+ years old at the time of this recording. So you can see that for a period in the month of November, I sold 2. That's right. 2 copies. And right now my book ranks in Amazon as the 227,000th most popular book. I mean, do I get a trophy for that? Now, obviously I am not making a lot of money, a lot of passive income from my book sales. I think the last time that I got a royalty check that was something worth mentioning was, I think it was like 160 bucks, and that was not for a month. I think that was for the quarter. So that means on average, I'm making about $1.83 passively from my book. So if you want to go buy my book so I can increase my daily passive income rate, I would be very much obliged. You know, honestly, I'd rather you just smash the like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So the last passive income source, and this is, once again, is one of my favorite, but it's not the largest, but this one is from selling my financial planning practice. And why this is so exciting for me is twofold. One, you get a nice little snapshot of our unfinished pool house. This door is actually going in. Tomorrow upstairs is going to be the new office, the new studio. Can't wait for that. But that'll be another video. Why I'm excited, because I get this check. So it was $10,700 and it varies month to month. That is about an average size that I get. So the way this deal was structured, I got some money up front and the rest of it is paid over a 7-year period. Well, why this is so exciting for me is because it is the online business. It is what I set up with the blog, with everything that I have going on, that allowed me to sell the financial planning practice. Now doing what I absolutely love to do, getting paid more money, and I'm still getting paid from the business that I haven't been involved in 2+ years or so. So yeah, you know, $10,700 works out to be a good chunk per month. I actually have the tally here. Comes out to be $350 a month from that. So if we add up all the passive income sources, we're looking at $331,000 for a month. Divided by 30 gives us a nice $11,043.43 per day. I mean, that is some good passive income. What can I say? I truly enjoy not just getting the money, but living the lifestyle that comes along with it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is things that I still have to do, but there's things that I want to do, that I enjoy to do, and I've got an amazing team that supports me and allows me to operate in my zone of genius, so I'm not stuck doing the crap work that I don't want to do. But if this was in the summer, I would go and jump in my pool, but right now, you know, it's a little cold. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I got more videos talking about passive income and just really how I've structured everything. And I'm not a unique story. There are others that have built a similar type of business, a similar lifestyle. And my goal with the channel here is to show you more of that, give you the tools and the resources that you need to hack your wealth and enjoy life along the way. All right, y'all, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, peace.